It's been 3 months since I returned from the wild west of Arizona, whilst hiking the 800 miles of its rugged desert. And now, I was home, living life on the road, continuing my nomadic existence. I felt a calling to head to the forest, to indulge in Mother Nature's slowness, peace, and stability. I've always found belonging amongst the trees, wherever I am in the world. It's a place to rest and recharge, but also gain valuable skills that date thousands of years back, still connecting us to our ancestors in some shape or form. I was excited to disconnect and spend some valuable time in the woods with my family dog, Buster, just to let it be. I always find it fascinating setting up home in a new place. Finding comfort and security in an unfamiliar area is truly refreshing, although time-consuming, with the basic requirements of food, water, and shelter. This was no test, nor survival challenge, but simply a task of living comfortably in the woods, whilst enjoying its presence, and I chose the perfect tent for just that. This is pretty cool. So I'm now in the tent and this is so epic. It's the first time properly setting it up and camping in it this time. So it did take a while to get my head around everything and get it set up properly because it is a pretty big tent, as you can see. Yeah, it is awesome, and the fact that you pump it up and inflate it is so interesting to me, just not having a pole system. And there's obviously a lot of pros and cons to that, but I'm excited to test this out, and I'm going to be spending the next week here just really immersing myself in the camp and making some changes, as well as just being in here and living out of here with Buster. It's going to be a really good time, and might even extend it or plan some more long-term camping trips in here after testing it out for the week. I have got so much more to get on with. I need to transfer everything that I had in my old tent into this one, such as like furniture, a cot bed, wood burner, that sort of thing, and just have a little bit of a sort out, because you don't realise how much gear you need when you're doing long-term camping. And I know for this it's only a week, but whether it's one night, a week, or a month, you still need the same base amount of kit. It just changes how much water and food and power you need. Setting up a base camp really, and being completely off-grid here, and obviously power. I've got power banks with me, so I'm really looking forward to this time, just to be able to switch off, completely disconnect. There's no signal here, there's no one around, it's just me alone in this bell tent for the next week. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really nice sort of detox, I guess, and just be completely involved in the woodland, and sort of taking a trip down memory lane as well, because I used to spend so much time here. Spending time in nature over the years has led me to the path I'm on now. It shaped my direction and put the wind in my sails for my adventures all around the world. I feel so passionately for the land that surrounds us, the wildlife that fills it, and the idea of becoming one with both of them. I guess I'm on a journey of living freely, with my priorities straight and being as close to the outdoors that I can possibly be. I find great happiness in that. Right, so the tent is up. It is all loaded with all the stuff that I'll need for the next week, and I'm really happy with the tent and just how it looks in there, which I'll show you now. And it looks like somewhere I'd love to live full time personally. So yeah, after a lot of planning, traveling down to get to this plot to do this video and just get all the kit and finally be here feels really lovely. I've been really looking forward to this. There's been so much traveling throughout last year and this year, and it feels really amazing to be back here at the camp and just be here for the next week, sorting out this area, sorting out the shelters, cooking over a fire, doing some real back to basic stuff whilst living out of this luxury. This feels like glamping. Well, it is pretty much glamping, isn't it? So if anyone's interested, this is a tent from RBM Outdoors. It is the Koala 7 and it is a 2 to 10 person tent. So just to clarify, I have been kindly gifted this tent. I really wanted the tent, and as if you watch my channel a lot, you'll know that I love different bell tents, hot tents, that sort of thing. And I've been looking at this for some time and really interested to try it, an inflatable tent, as I've never tried an inflatable tent. And I thought, moving forward, this will be so practical and ideal, and it's a lovely living space for when I do get land sometime in the future. So for someone who's lived in hot tents for multiple months on end, I knew what I wanted in here. I knew the layout that I needed and the most essential items. So this is sort of mixing being pretty minimal but also being comfortable. Long-term living in something like this is really doable. So I'm just going to show you the sort of things I've got here that you'd actually want if you were staying in here long-term / living in here. So now we're inside the tent, you can see the inflatable chambers, and it's really solid, and I'm shocked how solid the tent is. So you get a pump with it, and as you saw at the beginning of this video, I inflated it with just an inflation pump, but you can use an electric pump if you wish. What else is really interesting is both of these panels come down and you can make 2 rooms out of the one tent. So you can have your bedroom area and like your living area here. This is just a fly mesh that you can keep down in case the bugs are really bad. And this is obviously a layer of canvas if you wanted to keep the heat in this room with the burner. And then down here in this corner, you can see there's 2 inlet holes if you wanted to run a diesel heater into the tent. So that is also very cool. I guess for one of them you could put your gas pipe through. If you wanted to leave your gas bottle outside the tent and leave your stove in here, then that's a cool inlet. But if you wanted to have 2 options of a diesel heater and the wood burner during winter, that would be very cool. Like I said, I haven't tested this in winter, so I don't know its capabilities, but I would put this up in the winter and I'm excited to test it. Right, next is a wood burner, which is always exciting. I love wood burners because I know how beneficial they are, especially in the colder months when it's cold, it's damp, you need to dry things out and also cook on it. So this is the Winnowell Nomad stove, and it fits really nicely into this tent, which I'm really chuffed with. I've got a heat mat down just so I don't ruin the floor / sparks coming out of the door when I open it up to refuel on wood. Down here I've got my workstation, so I've got my axes, my saw in the background there. I've got a basket for wood and all my fire lighting kit here also. I've obviously mentioned the wood burner, and there is a felt lining here so you don't singe the material, the canvas. Over on this side I have got my trusty little bench that I made quite a few years ago now, and I've just been leaving my gas stove on there. It's outside at the minute as I cooked outside tonight, but this is great for storing cooking equipment, cutlery, and obviously the stove, like I said. Over in this corner I've tried to go for the chilled out space, so this is sort of like your lounge space with cushions, this chair, little rug on the floor, and I've got my books. So this is a nice chilled area, and it's a really nice spot to do some work that I need to catch up on some of the evenings whilst I'm here. And then over the back here I have got my bed. So I've had this cot bed years. It's just a regatta cot bed, which is really sturdy but super comfortable. A subscriber many moons ago actually bought me a mattress because I think they felt sorry for me just sleeping straight on the cot bed. They're not the most comfortable, but I was getting by on it. But this mattress has made it luxury and it spoilt me a little bit. So I've got my sleep system on here, just a Enlightened Equipment quilt, pillow. I've got some food storage around the back here. What is handy is all around the tent you've got these storage pockets, so it's really essential for little bits and bobs. And then over in this corner I've got my power, so I've got 2 Jackery 500s, so that should last me the whole time because I'll be using my laptop, like I mentioned earlier, to do a bit of editing, charging lights, that sort of thing. And then over here I've got a cool box, not the most glamorous, but it's keeping my food cool, my meat. And then on here I've just got little knickknacks for washing my cast iron equipment, a Miffer lantern for lighting and a candle. And last but not least is Buster's dog bed. They will be staying in tonight. He likes it near the door. I'll probably leave it ajar so he can go in and out. So yeah, that is a very brief and quick look at this tent and everything that I've got inside it. And it is so practical and I'm really looking forward to spending a few nights here. But I feel like I pretty much covered everything that I would need in here. I think if I added anything else, it would get a little bit crowded. Good morning. I slept like a dream. It is good to be here. I've got myself a coffee. I'm just going to journal for a little bit. There is so many jobs that I need to get done whilst I'm here, being back in this camp, such as sort this shelter out. I've also got to sort the teepee out that's over there, that I built years and years ago. It's on its last legs now, so I think I'm going to take that down and potentially use some of the materials to build this up. Due to a lack of time spent in this area, nature has taken over, clawing back what belongs to her, meaning a lot of my camp needs some serious maintenance to get it back on its feet, and ultimately usable. This was obviously done in a slow fashion, with cups of tea and cooked breakfasts, to get the full experience. Boy, come on then. Sit. Paw. Steady. Good boy. Slow living has always been my cup of tea. I try to avoid a conventional lifestyle and feel very lucky to have the choice in my office. It felt unusually normal being here and almost felt like I just uprooted my typical life and placed it into this inflatable tent. Right, so me and Buster are now back from our walk. The weather is super lovely now. It's really warmed up. It's been pretty cold all day, hence why I had the fire going for a lot of today, plus to burn all this brush. There's so many twigs and branches that have fallen out the trees. So I've just been clearing the forest floor. So for now I'm going to get on with some camp chores. I need to sort my fire pit out. I want to clear this bracken that you can see behind me, and that is tomorrow's job. The teepee, if you can see it, well, what's left of it anyway. It's still semi-waterproof, which I'm shocked at. It used to be fully waterproof just through using natural materials, but obviously the weather and time has evolved. But the days up here go so quickly. It is unbelievable. What are you panting for? He likes a dead cat. Yeah, the days go so quickly up here. It just flies by. I think there's something about this place, I don't know what it is. As the old saying goes, time flies when you're having fun. I think this, mixed with doing natural tasks like focusing on shelters, firewood, and the beautiful details in between, is what make days merge together. You realise time is just a concept. Gosh, it's so hot around this fire. It is boiling, but that is a bloody lovely spaghetti bolognese. I don't know what happened to all my bushcraft plates, so I'm stuck with this one out the Land Rover, bright blue one. Won't miss it. I forgot how lovely it is to cook in a Dutch oven. There's something so special about it. And I decided not to put spaghetti with this because there's so much food there. I feel like that's going to last me 3 days at this rate. I think when I cook over a Dutch oven, it always reminds me of Romania when I visited there. And I visited a very poor village. People didn't have many opportunities, they didn't have a lot of money there. But they were all extremely happy, which was the main thing. And they used to cook goulash in a Dutch oven. And I was actually volunteering out there, and there was a couple who had set up an organisation to try and help some of the children and the women and men out there who were suffering or probably couldn't afford too many nice meals, and they'd make these huge goulashes, which is a traditional meal out there. Time in the woods really gets me thinking about the past, the present, and the future. And I personally think it's really rewarding having this time to reflect and remember some brilliant memories that have been and gone. Right, good morning. I've had a pretty chilled start of the day. It has been another lovely morning, really beautiful weather. I've actually been blessed with the weather, but I was excited to see how this tent would get on with the rain. It might still rain yet. I just feel so blessed to be here. I absolutely love it here. Here is the A-frame. It is very solid. Let's see if it would take my weight. I don't want to break it in front of the camera because it's old. Right, yeah, it was me that was failing there with holding my body weight rather than the shelter. Yeah, I want to sort of re-establish this, make it more permanent, and so it's a solid structure, because the framework itself's perfect. It's just I need to wrap it in a tarp. The old one got a huge hole through it, and then layer it with natural materials, so branches, twigs, and then there's a lot of bracken around, so I might just layer it up with bracken or moss. And I think this would be quite a cool little place. I wish I did have a wider shelter, so obviously around the fire it would be nice to have a big lean-to with the overhang, and that's what I used to have. I used to have a huge shelter here years ago, and it was awesome, it was ideal. But when you got these southeasterly winds that came through, it just used to batter it because it was such a large surface area. So, what another amazing day. I'm sat here with a cup of tea around the fire. It is 8:30 and the nights are drawing in already. It is August. It's getting dark about 9 p.m. now, so that is pretty scary. It's a strange feeling when the nights start drawing in and the nights become longer and the days become shorter and the weather starts changing. It feels like you only briefly witness summer before it passes again. I am looking forward to the seasons changing though, and you definitely appreciate this thing here, fire, a lot more. But for now, I am just reading this epic book, and that's actually why I started filming, but started waffling instead. It's called Journeys into the Wilderness, and it's a John Muir book, and basically it's a collection of his books put into one huge book by a guy called Graham White. And I'm just at the beginning really, and there was a really lovely section that I really want to read because it was really beautiful and it spoke to me. And if you don't know who John Muir is, please look him up. He's an amazing guy. Here is the passage, and I'm not sure if it's by him. Everything is flowing, going somewhere. Animals and so-called lifeless rocks as well as water. When we contemplate the whole globe as one great dewdrop, stripped and dotted with continents and islands, flying through space with all the other stars, all singing and shining together as one, the whole universe appears as an infinite storm of beauty. This grand show is eternal. It is always sunrise somewhere. The dew is never all dried at once. A shower is forever falling. Vapour ever rising. Eternal sunrise, eternal sunset, eternal dawn and glooming. On seas and continents and islands, each in its turn, as the round earth rolls. So the shelter is pretty much done. I've just finished it off with some bracken over the top just to make it a little bit more discreet and a little bit more natural. It's got really cold actually, it's pretty chilly. So I'm going to get a fire going, make some dinner because another day has gone. Time I did this, I sorted out my Arctic tent, the inside of it, because unfortunately it will be coming to an end and I'll be taking it down either tomorrow or the next day, and that's sort of an end of an era. It's been up for years and it's performed brilliantly, but I no longer use it as much and it no longer warrants it being up. It is the afternoon and I've had a really lovely morning. Jake came to visit me this morning. We played some slingshot. He had a look around the tent. He absolutely loves the tent, thinks it's awesome. So it's been a nice morning / afternoon. And I'm going to continue now on this amazing slingshot. And this is from a guy called Steve Baker, and he's made this ultralight slingshot for hunting or just having a bit of fun, and I think it's amazing how he's crafted this beautiful piece of wood. Heavy duty bands on here is a beautiful slingshot, and he makes various ones of these, so definitely check him out. I've loved using this. He gave it to us at the Bushcraft show. When was that? A few months back now. And me and Jake have just had it in the van and been shooting with it, which has been really good fun. So good morning. It is actually mine and Buster's last day here, and we are just relishing this final morning and enjoying it in this very spot that I used to sit in about 4 or 5 years ago. I always used to sit here and journal and look out because this plantation was just a baby, and there was a lot more light and views from here. And I haven't sat here for years since. Just been so busy with travelling and doing different things with my life. It's been nice, it's been lovely to have the change and go to all these different places and meet different people, and then come back to this exact spot as sort of a different person with different perspectives and a different mindset in a way, but still sharing the same love for this place that I did years and years ago. So I've really enjoyed this experience. It's been incredible. The past week has just been a really lovely reset for me, just to focus inwardly, to slow down a little, to reset, to be closer to nature, do things with my hands like lighting fires, carving, and just rekindling old memories, really lovely, wholesome memories. Obviously this chapter's coming to an end, but I can always still come back here, and I'm planning on actually coming back during the autumn winter period and doing something here, doing something a little bit more hot tenty. I can actually use the wood burner and have that hot tenting experience, because not moaning about the weather at all, but it's been way too hot to light a wood burner on an evening. It's just been really warm nights, warm days. It's been lovely. It's been nice to enjoy the summer and spend it here whilst everything's green and full of life before it starts coming to an end, and the firework season starts, as I like to call it, the firework display, where all the colours and the vibrantness of nature just comes alive during autumn, and I love that season. It's gorgeous. So yeah, final day. It feels very strange, as I feel like I was gaining a routine and getting into the system of things, of just waking up, lighting a fire, making a brew, and just going by the pace of nature, really, getting up really early and going to bed really early, and I loved it. So I'm so glad that I've come back and done this trip, because I haven't been back to the camp for a long time. But I'm preparing myself today, because it's going to be a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, I think, taking the Arctic tent down that you might be able to see behind me. It's funny because when we first started coming here, the trees were so small, and I know I keep saying this, but I think it's because it's showing me how long and how many years have gone by. And it's a little bit scary, because I guess it's like watching your pet or your kid grow up. It's seeing them grow so quickly, and it makes you feel a lot older, I guess. And that's what I'm getting with these trees. They were tiny saplings, and now they're 3 times taller than me, and they're huge, and they're growing into tall trees now. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, and it's showing me how quickly life goes. It's been incredible, and I feel really grateful, and actually makes me quite kind of emotional, because it teaches you how quickly time goes, and that you've got to do the things you want to do. Otherwise, I just feel like you'll never be content or satisfied. And that could be as simple as just doing the small things in life that make you happy, like getting out and watching a sunrise, or it could be making something, maybe making your own home, or making a business, or creating something, whether that's like a very cool painting, or making a dugout canoe, or creating children, or just travelling and spending as much time as you can being outside and connecting to nature, and living off the land, or buying a plot of land and being off-grid and self-reliant. And incredible what you can do with your life. And I think you really need to chase your dreams and do what you set out to do, because everybody's got a purpose, and everyone's got something that makes them uncontrollably happy and passionate. And I think you've got to do those things. You really need to do those things, because that's what makes you you. Those distinct things is what makes you separate from everybody else, because they're what make you you and really speak to you. I think all these things, all these tiny little building blocks throughout your life build a foundation for who you are. Yeah, you can tell I've spent a lot of time in the woods, can't you? I've come out with some real insightful things during this trip, and I was telling Jake about it, and he said, yeah, you spent too long in the woods this time. I personally think it's never enough time.
It was a real shame closing this passion project, like each trip when it comes to an end. I was really starting to feel settled here, but I'm really looking forward to what's in store on the horizon. Thank you so much for being a part of my journey, and take care. Until the next one.
Out of the darkness, into the light. Won't let it go easy, not without a fight. No matter the distance and how far